New inks, yes. I am reviewing new ink pads released by Mudra Stamps. For those of you who don't know Mudra, it's a new stamp company from India. They released 11 new ink pads called Mai. Mai means ink in Tamil, my mother tongue, a South Indian language. Hello and welcome to my video. This is Gayatri. Sorry about my voice again. I'm still down with flu over the past week and just starting to recover. My voice is still not very good. There are 11 ink pads released this month. Here I have them all. The colors are ruby red, flamingo pink, lilac, lemon yellow, tangerine orange, cornflower blue, sky blue, fuchsia pink, jet black, cocoa brown, and ultraviolet. These inks are made in India. They are acid-free, water-based dye inks. The information on the back says the ink pads give crisp impression every single time. Well, we are going to see about that. Easy to clean with chamois or wet wipes, and the box features easy opening, finger grips, stackable, and dual use lid. I don't know really what that means. The packaging is okay, made out of soft plastic. I spoke to Vashita, the owner of Mudra, and she said she designed and formulated the inks, keeping Indian crafters in mind as well as the cost. These inks or my retail for 120 rupees or $2.50 USD. That's a great price point, I think. The ink pad has felt pads and are very juicy. They do stack very well over each other. In this video, I will review how these My colors stamp using solid and detailed stamp images. I wanted to review other techniques using these inks, but my health did not permit me to do so. So this review is all about basic stamping, and during the next couple of months, I will review other techniques using these inks. I have a white cardstock with a table drawn. The name of the inks are on the left and two columns each for solid image stamping and detailed image stamping. Let's get stamping. I'm using solid and detailed image from Botanical Blooms stamp set, and I have mounted them on acrylic blocks. The first and the most important step before inking a stamp is to prep the stamp. New stamps have a clear coating on them. You have to remove the coating for the stamp to get the inks to stick on it. You can either rub your fingers or palm of your hand to remove the coating, or stamp using Versamark ink pad a few times before inking up the stamp. In case of used stamp, make sure you wipe off any ink residue from previous stamping or dust using wet wipes or chamois or microfiber cloth. I will stamp the solid images using all the inks first because I want them dry and then compare them with freshly stamped detail image. Okay, I'm going to speed up a tiny bit here, and I'm starting with the ruby red my ink. I ink up the stamp very well and I stamp. I get a very bright image, but the image is a bit splotchy. I wipe off for the next color, and the next color is tangerine orange. I stamp. It's a beautiful color. It stamps very well, but the image is splotchy. Moving on, next color is lemon yellow, and that's a beautiful color too. I love it. Followed by the sky blue. Yep, the image is splotchy. Then cornflower blue. This image is a lot more splotchy than the previous ones. Then the ultraviolet, that is also a lot more splotchy like the cornflower blue. Then the lilac. Moving on to the flamingo pink. Oh, I love this color. And I'm making sure I wipe off my stamp after every ink. And this is fuchsia pink. It's a nice bright pink. Then the cocoa brown. Yes, it's also a little bit splotchy. And finally, the jet black. The brown and the black colors do stain the stamp. I wipe the stamp with my microfiber cloth, and then I'm using a stamp cleaner to spray a little bit on the stamp and wipe it off, and the stamp is as good as new. Now to the detailed stamp, starting with ruby red. The image is stamped very well. I love the image. The color is bright next to the solid image now that the solid image has had a little time to dry. The solid image has dried and smoothened out and gives a nice even coverage and dries lighter like mini dye inks. Dye gets absorbed into the paper and becomes lighter, and that's how dye ink works. While the freshly stamped detailed image is bright as the ink is still wet and sitting on top of the paper now. Moving on to the next color, which is tangerine orange, same result. Next, lemon yellow, same result. With the blue, sky blue, exactly the same result. And as you can see, the color on the ink pad lid is the color of the dried ink, not the freshly stamped ink color, as you can see on the sky blue. So don't stamp an image and look at the color of the ink pad on the ink pad and then say they don't match. Wait for the ink to dry. So stamping all the colors using detailed image, I am very happy with the result. The black and the brown stamp colors stamp nice and crisp. Again, I clean my stamp between the colors and towards the end using a stamp cleaner, and the stamp is as good as new. Here's a good look at all the stamped images, both solid and detailed. And the solid colors have generally dried, smoothened, and evened out, except for the cornflower blue, ultraviolet, and lilac solid images, which are still splotchy. I think they're still a bit wet. So I wanted to try them using a stamping tool like Misty and double stamp. Double stamping gives good coverage of ink using a solid stamp. The colors are darker than single stamped images. Of course, they will be because you have stamped twice, but the ink will dry and smooth itself and become lighter. The coverage is definitely good with a stamping tool than with an acrylic block. I played with these inks and stamped several images, as you can see, and I love the inks. It stamps as good as any dye ink and has a very good price point. I stamped 3 background panels here. The second one uses second generation stamping and it works. So at the moment you still can use one color ink and do layered stamping. I made a set of 3 cards using these panels. Here they are. Since the panels are only stamped with no other techniques, I used scoring on the card front to add texture and interest to the cards. The sentiments are stamped in jet black my ink and are from Purely Sentiment labeled stamp set. Head over to Mudra Blog for more pictures of the cards and ink review photos. All the links are linked in the description box below. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up and also don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching and bye for now.